Hello everybody, welcome to 15-Minute Fuel. This is Dr. Zaino, where in just 15 minutes a day, we're going to fuel your mind, your body, and your future. Alright, so today what we're going to do is we're going to talk about a couple things. Before we do that, we're going to actually go over the announcements. Thank you so much for watching episode 13. Episode 13 was live yesterday. Make sure you watch it today. You'll see the link below for episode 13. Make sure you share it, like it, thumbs up, because that really gets it out to the world. It was a really good one. It was a real fun one. We enjoyed that. And a lot of good comments on that one. Also, episode 14 will be coming out tomorrow on Wednesday, so make sure you're there for that. Now, the great thing about episode 14 is we're still continuing our trip in Utah. You'll see some Park City stuff going on. So just enjoy it, love it. We just really had a great fun time with that. Also, make sure, like, if you're watching these, because I know I share these to my other pages, like Chris Zaino page and stuff like that. Make sure you go to the @Dr. Zaino page and like it, follow it, so you get notifications when we're going live. Because I want your feedback as well, and I want you to ask questions so we can engage. And your questions are my fuel. Thank you so much for your comment and all your emails I got yesterday from yesterday's episode. And we're all in this together, so I really appreciate it so much. Also, all the other Facebook stuff or Instagram and Twitter, and just join those, Dr. Zaino, so we can stay connected. All right, so we're waiting for people to get on. Just say hello when you get it on. So, hey, Rob Neuenschwanner's on. Let me raise this up a bit. There we go. Okay, here we go. Type this down. Good. Get it settled. I got to be perfect. Here we go. Or almost. Get this thing out of the way. All right. All right, so now we have a good crew on now. So let's talk about today's subject. Today's subject is the causes of your secret identity. I believe that every single person was born with seeds of genius, and they're all capable of reaching heroic capacities in their life, every single person. But now we live in a society, though, that promotes, encourages, and rewards, and even drugs mediocrity. We're in a society that teaches and educates you on what to think and what to do, versus allowing us to be able to learn how to think for ourselves and how to be who we were created to be. The way I like to put it is society teaches and forces us into human doings, right? Human doings, which is your secret identity, versus the hero, which is human beings. Now, your secret identity, again, becomes a counterfeit version of yourself, a less than version of yourself, and a counterfeit version of somebody else. Now, the way this happens, you have teachers, preachers, dogmas, society, media, social media, parents, loving our parents, but belief systems they were told and told to us. Then we start talking, or what I like to call viruses and languages. We start to speak death into our lives, or we speak death over other people, and then it just becomes a certain language. We don't know the definition of the words we're actually speaking. We're saying that we want to avoid this word, but in reality, we don't even know the definition to be able to learn how to think and learn how to accept it and be our own hero. And it causes three phases. And let me explain, how we get into this secret identity, because we want to go over the cause of it. So the cause doesn't happen in your 30s and 40s, and it doesn't happen in your 20s either. It happens when we were younger, and it happens. I really was able to extract three ways. Now, for me personally, I found my secret identity, or part of my secret identity was, number one, I found my identity in what I did. So as a chiropractor, that became my identity, versus a hero disguised as a chiropractor, or a hero disguised as a mother and a wife, right? So that's the first thing that causes secret identity. The second thing is that I couldn't accept appreciation, or I was so taught to avoid pride and ego that it was so bad and sinful that not only did I practice humility, the pendulum swung to the other end, to where I actually started becoming or having false humility, which is actually low self-esteem, low self-worth, and almost martyring yourself. You would never accept appreciation. You would say thank you, but deep down, you would never accept appreciation from the gifts and the talents you did. You would not even, when someone say thank you, you would say, oh, you're so welcome, but you never really allow it to hit your spirit. So that part of your life was actually starving, thinking, I don't want to be known as a bad person. All right. So, but the thing is, so over time, that actually started starving the hero on the inside, because the hero needs the pride and the ego and the humility together with the right intention to soar like an eagle and do some amazing things. And so because of that, I had a tough time receiving it, and chiropractic was my identity. To go beyond, to go out of that lane, to do anything else, even though I felt the pull to do anything else, I was scared. What are my peers going to think? What are the people in my life going to think? Are they going to think I'm ungrateful? Are they think I'm abandoning them? So you start to feel guilt. And when you live in false humility, guilt is huge, all right? Or guilt in itself is horrible. And then the third factor is knowing that you have that kind of in the shower, in the closet, when no one's looking, kind of deep down, you do have greatness in you, but you don't want to tell anybody, because you don't want to expose anybody else's insecurity, and you want to just conform like everybody else. But here's the problem. When you realize that you have more potential than you are, when you realize that you're living at half your potential and you're living a half a life, then the other half of your potential and the other half of the life you could be living will haunt you the rest of your life. And that's the torment you feel right now. That's the slight depression. That's the anxiety. That's the, am I not grateful? That's what you're feeling. When you're feeling that on the inside, that little bit of anxiousness, that little bit of depression, that little bit of, I know something's bigger and better out there for me, but I just don't know, that sadness, that's the other half of your potential and the other half of the life you could be living, that you were created to live, pulling on you and kind of letting you know they're there. All right, so then you start feeling the conflict, and that becomes a secret identity. The hero, the crisis of identity. Hero, secret identity bashing, but you have to choose. But let's go back to when we were kids. How did we get here? How come it took me 40 years to be able to look back and go, holy smoke, I was the hero the whole time. We were the hero the whole entire time. Why? Number one, this is how it works, and follow me here with this. Number one, right? We're taught, educated, teachers, preachers, society, news, you name it. They're promoting, rewarding, and even medicating, a mediocre society. So first we're told this is how we're to act. This is what we're to do. And some of the good old people like myself and you, I'm a person that I just want to make my teacher proud, right? So I obey the rules, right? So immediately, boom, you just had to tell me how to act and what to do, and I put on my glasses, I put on my secret identity. Good. I just want to be a good kid. I don't want detention. I'm great. But then, for those of you, and you know who you are, that you were real heroes. You're the ones that, even though they told you how to act and told you how to think, you still expressed yourself, and you're like, nah, I'm gonna do something different. I appreciate it. And so what they start to do is then the system actually starts to bully you a little bit. First of all, the bullying is now you start to get bad grades. Now we're going to label you with a bad grade. So now you're not worthy. You're not performing correctly. Bad grade. Then they're going to put you in detention. All right, they're going to put you in the corner. All right. Whitney and I went to schools where they spanked you. Okay, they actually hit and abused you. All right, so or they would call Whitney's dad into spanker. Anyway, so now they're bullying you into conforming. All right, then starts to happen. They start labeling you. So you'll labeled the troublemaker, the bad kid, the kid in detention, and then the pressure of no one wanted to be around the bad kid. Right. So a lot of us at that point, for those of you know you are, it just took a couple of times like that, the spanking, the detention, being labeled. Then you said, okay, put on the glasses. You put on your secret identity. But then there's a third. The third are the real superheroes that they were told, okay, they were pressured and bullied with the detention and trying to look and get an F because they didn't give a crap with Saturn or where Saturn was in the solar system. They were told they were the bad kid. They were put in detention. And then they said, you know what? I'm still going to express myself, my art, who I am. Now they're seen as the troublemaker, the outcast. And then all of a sudden, now there's something wrong. And now what happens? They come in, and now they're labeled with a diagnosis. So now this is the extreme part where they're like, listen, society, and I'm seeing society as a whole, the system, they're like, listen, they're not listening. We couldn't bully them. So now we're going to give them a diagnosis. We're going to name them some disorder, and now we're going to drug the hero to death. So now they put 78 million people on antipsychotic medications, and then now they drug the hero. It's a medically induced coma of your hero, so your hero never comes out. And now every day that person takes that pill, they're reassuring themselves. They're telling themselves every day, I'm not worthy. I'm bad. I'm a troublemaker. And you know what? You could only be in the lion's den, and you could only take so many hits, and you could only take so many lies before you start realizing it. I think, Hitler said something really close to that, right? You tell a lie long enough, and the people start to believe it. That's what's happening. So that's the three things that happen. So when you see the kid that's diagnosed or the kid, and I'm personally, when I developed this and wrote this out, I see my sons fall into these categories. We all do. Myself and Justice are the good kids. You tell us, and we line right up. I remember Justice, just the fact that Justice knew, or you could tell my mom. My dad spanked me once, okay? That was it. I learned really quick. Titus, man, forget about it. He actually, the more you go at him, the more he goes at you. So I realized, okay, so instead of doing that he is the superhero. He has the genius. He's expressing himself. And I have to realize, wow, I gotta allow him to express himself. Of course, he can't be a jerk, but something where I gotta understand, what is he trying to express? So these are those causes of the secret identity. And the secret identity causes such trauma and havoc in people's lives and in society, such as, for instance, midlife crisis, the crisis of life. As we get older now, so now fast forward to 30-year-old, 40-year-old, or older, it creates the crisis because now it's buried. We forgot we were the hero, right? You do that, a kid, remember the kid had all those qualities, boom, their secret identity, they forgot they were the hero. Now watch what happens. 30, 40, 50 years old, here comes the crisis, the midlife crisis, the crisis of identity. Because what did I tell you? When you live in a half life, or when you're living half your potential, that other half's going to torment you until you embrace it. So we start having these feelings, or guys go have affairs and do some stupid stuff like that. Or, they try to fill this void or distraction to get happy, to get a sense of fulfillment, but you can't, this is something that you can't buy. You can't buy, your purpose again. So that's why success is only going to help you so much, because if you're not living your fulfillment, remember Anthony Robbins said, success without fulfillment is failure. So you're seeking this fulfillment. You're seeking who you were created to be. And then you go to the crisis, and all the crisis is hero and secret identity bashing, but we have to embrace it, because this is the time in my life, or your life, through these talks that we're doing, that you start to realize, wait a second, I am the hero. And then you've got to embrace the crisis by finding out who you are and finding your voice. And what you're going to find is when you go through the crisis, you're going to see something at the other end. You're going to see yourself. It's not going to be who you think you were, and it's definitely not going to be who you think you wanted to be. But the great thing is you're going to see who you were created to be. And that's the greatest gift you could give yourself, society, your family, and the world, and God, is you actually expressing who you were created to be at 100%. Remember, we're not perfectionists, we're potentialists. And that's when the depression goes away, because when you start going into that potential that you were supposed to have, and you start living the true life, you're not living a half life or secret identity anymore, then the depression, the anxiety goes away, the stress goes away. The thing is, do I work hard? Do I have stress? Yeah, but you don't see it as stress and anxiety. You see it as purpose. You see it as hero, basically. Now, that's midlife crisis. And then plenty of the docs out there watching, depression is huge. If you have depression, anxiety, worry, fear, these are huge. And it's something that no one talks about. It's a secret no one likes to talk about. People have different levels of depression. You wouldn't believe the amount of patients I have that you would never believe. You would never think about it, but when you really realize, you see they're on antidepressants, they're on medications, and they've been on for 13 years ago. It started with a divorce or a breakup 14 years ago, and they never came off. Or, you would be amazed on the reasons why they're on it, because their friend was on it or something like that. And so now it starts to affect, well, you never came off it. But really, depression, all that stuff, we have 78 million people on medication, 350 million people diagnosed with depression, and it's the number one cause of disability. Did you know that? The number one cause of disability is depression. That means it's not a physical thing. We think it's the lower back pain or the neck. No, it's not headaches or back pain. It's emotional. That's the number one cause of depression, disability is depression. And then it goes into the workplace and your family. We already talked about, I think, in another show that for CEOs out there, I could see everybody watching, you fall into one of these categories. You're either a business owner, right? You work in a business, or you would love to have your own business, right? You're one of those, right? And that's the three things. So they surveyed 80% of employees had no pleasure or satisfaction in their work, 80%. And so 88%. It's easy for the boss to say, well, let's fire them all. No, you can't, because your managers, 80% of your managers don't have any pleasure or satisfaction in their work. So you have two huge groups that keep the business running, and they're not expressing their potential. They're grieving their potential. They're not expressing who they are. They're not satisfied. And remember, pleasure and satisfaction, do you know what that's the definition of? Pride. Pride is having pleasure or satisfaction in an achievement you have done, or you have done with others, like friends or family or a team, or a quality that you have, or something you possess that you have that people are widely admired. Again, but so many people are afraid of pride for being bad. And here we have 80+% of the population hating their job or not having pleasure or satisfaction because they lost the pride in what they did. Right? So again, it shows you that $500 billion is spent in disengagement at work. And then that disengagement, don't think if they're disengaged at work, then they're disengaged where? In the family. They're disengaged with their kids. They're disengaged with their friends. And this becomes a silent epidemic of a secret identity that no one's willing to stand up and address. And I'm just grateful. And I'm proud, so proud of it, trust me, that I went through a little bit of hell and distraction and pain to realize, holy smoke, my patients are suffering not just because they have a subluxation in their spine. It's because even though that corrects, this isn't correcting their heart. They're not even reaching full hero mode, and that's exactly where they needed to be. And so what we're going to do is, this is where we're at. This is the causes of the secret identity. So if you like this, thumbs up, double biceps up, big hearts up, hit the share button. And I'm going to go through some questions now to see if we have any questions. So make sure you hit that like button. Hey, Pete. Hey, Juan. And remember, even if you're not watching this live, I will always answer your questions. All right, let's go. Let's see. Hello, everybody. Hey, Kira. Hey, Rob. Hey, CJ. Hey, George. Hey, Mom. My mom's always on. What? How see hero without a mentor? I don't get it, Rob. It's too late. Is it too late to be your hero at 60? Absolutely not. Holy cow, Mike. Mike, I love that. He said, is it too late to be your hero at 60? No. I truly believe that one of the greatest accomplishments of your bucket list is for you to get to the point in your life where you could realize, I am. You could embrace the I am, that you were created with genius, greatness, and you always had the hero inside you the whole time. It gets tougher though, right? Because the longer we're in the secret identity, it's tougher to realize you're the hero. But that 60-year-old could wake up and become the hero and go full speed. And it's not like you're getting anything, right? It's nothing on the outside. I pray for it. I'm like, God, just give me the guidance and give me the direction and allow me to actually get to the point where I know myself. But billions of people will never, ever know who they are when they look in the mirror. And they go through life in quiet desperation, wearing their secret identity, and they forgot who they really are. And they exist, and that's it. But, I mean, someone could find it at 90. Someone could find it, how about the last 5 minutes? How about at the last 5 minutes of someone's life? That they're sitting in their deathbed, and they're going through their life, and they actually realize that. It could happen at any second. It happens in a second. I realized when I read that definition, guys, when I read the definition, immediately the calluses that were on my heart for 3 to 4 years melted. And I always told my wife the only way I would get my heart back is I needed a miracle from God, because I really said Jesus was the only one that's the only one that could restore my heart. I mean, I felt it was so freaking calloused that I'm like, I need like a heart. I literally told my wife one day, I need a heart transplant, because I believed the lie that my heart was calloused and there was no way it's going to heal again, because I just got stabbed in it so many freaking times in the last 12 years. So the thing is, in a moment, the fact that the calluses and I got a renewed heart, so it shows you when we're dealing on our fourth dimensional spiritual level, that there's, we're spirits in a physical body. It healed immediately. And my wife got her boyfriend back, and she got a better husband back. You see, so it could happen in a second. So when I realized that, I looked back to my life and I realized it was something that was here the whole time. It was like imagine walking around with a hand in front of your face, but society made it where you don't even see it. So once you realize it, and then here's the thing, you realize it, but the key is, what I can't help you with, is I could get you to the end of the cliff with your toes hanging off, but you have to have enough self-worth and self-awareness to say, I am, and embrace it. And only you could do that. And once you do that, and let me tell you, when I first said, I am a hero, it felt dirty. It really did. It felt a little dirty. Because that, who do you think you are? What the hell do you think you're saying? It was my secret identity fighting for its life. It was a survival mechanism, and it sucked. But let me tell you, by the second, by the third, by the fourth, I felt a peace, I felt a confidence, and it started an entire movement that we're doing now. And you could see, we've been doing this long enough, there's nothing kooky about me, but I really see, then I was able to see the potential that so many people, this was something they were hungry for and they didn't know it. And it was really a wonderful thing. I realized, like, hey, listen, I am, but my intention is there, right? You know, I have pride, ego, massive humility, because I do know my weaknesses, and I do, like, my wife's the CEO. Like, I know we need the team. And then when I read that pride was also being, you know, having, pleasure and satisfaction with a group of people that you achieve something with, that's my family. That's you guys. See, so we could come together. It's team spirit if I thought of anything. So, of course, that's such a great question. Is it too late at 60? I wish my dad found his. But no, my dad totally lived in the secret identity of he was a sick, cancerous person. And that's the way he died. But he did come back near the end in hospice. Hospice came by, and I took him off the pain meds. And he definitely had a hero night. Let's see what else we got. Awesome, awesome. Hey, Mike. Hey, George. Hey, Darnell. Awesome, man. Hey, George. Inspirational. Thank you. All right, guys. Well, thank you so much for 15-minute fuel. I know this is getting a little bit long, but I appreciate your work with me. I love your feedback. This is amazing. So I'll be doing this keynote next Thursday, all right? So we're going to bring the camera crew. You'll see everything. You guys will see 100% of it. It has to be done in 19 to 20 minutes. I did it today in 24, and so 4 minutes is a lot to cut. So I'll get it down there, but you'll see it. Don't worry, you'll see the whole thing, but I have to be obsessed with it right now because I want to be able to bring it the best way possible because the practice will show. You know, it's when practice meets opportunity, that's when all the luck happens. So I know the more and harder I practice and doing this 30, 40 times, you know, I want to make sure that, you know, I know if I could do it well and I do a great job on it, we all rise. And I want to be able to bring you guys back the trophy on that one. So thank you so much for watching 15-Minute Fuel. We're in 15 minutes a day. We'll fuel your mind, your body, and your future. Make sure you watch episode 13. Tomorrow's episode 14. Subscribe to all the social media stuff. I'll see you guys tomorrow. God bless.